Assalamualaikum and hi, we are from Group 1 and today we will discuss about climate change topic in our country, Malaysia. So here's the list of our group member. First is Nurfatin Fathiah, second WAHIDAH Binti RAMLI, and third ZULAIKHA Binti YAHYA.
For the introduction, the definition of climate change is the significant alteration of average weather conditions where the weather becoming warmer, wetter or drier over decades or more due to the global warming.
Causes of climate change. Greenhouse gases are the gases in Earth's atmosphere that can trap heat. Sufficient greenhouse gases is good to keep Earth warm for living things to survive. However, human activities such as burning coal, oil and gas, cutting down trees, and using flaring gases products such as air conditioners, aerosol sprays, and more can accelerate climate change by increasing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which lead to climate change and global warming. Climate change can occur in two ways, which are from human activities, anthropogenic, and natural causes. For the anthropogenic causes, NASA stated that most of the climate warming since mid-1900s is contributed by burning coal, oil, and gas. When fossil fuels are burned, heat will be trapped in the atmosphere, causing Earth's temperature to increase. Destruction of forests and wetlands can lead to carbon dioxide emission to the atmosphere, which contribute to global warming. Other examples of anthropogenic causes are chemical fertilizer usage, increasing vehicles, and emission of greenhouse gases. Next is natural causes. Some climate change occur naturally. Natural phenomena such as volcanic eruption, changes in solar radiation, and variation can affect Earth's warming and cooling patterns. However, these factors only play small influence on current climate change that occur now. Other examples of natural causes are sunspot and solar cycle, ocean currents, forest fire, meteorites, and methane emission from animals.
In this documentary video, 3 climate change issues occurring in Malaysia will be discussed. First, flash floods, second, wildfire, and third, sea level rise. So now I will talk about the current status of climate change problem in our country, Malaysia. Climate change has caused a series of environmental problems, and one of them being flash floods, particularly happen in the urban area. So on the right side is the proof of flash flood events happening in one of urban area in Malaysia, which is Klang Valley after a heavy downpour. So according to the meteorological departments, the recent severe rainfall that caused flash flood in Klang Valley was most likely because of climate change. Due to climate change, water bodies such as oceans and lakes will evaporate faster on drought seasons, leading to a significant precipitations and series of rainfall to occur. In urban area, including Klang Valley, where less trees are available, surface runoff from heavy rainfall will tend to be higher. This is due to the fact that water will flow more quickly on impermeable surfaces such as asphalt and concrete, and finally reaches drain or waterway in shorter period of times. So when the water exceeds drainage or overwhelm the capacity, flash flood will occur. Continuous flash flood has damaging impact on our country as it leads to infrastructure damage, property loss, and require expensive repairs. Furthermore, the water from flash flood, which come from drainage, might contain pollutant, sewage, animals, and debris, which can lead to health issues among residents. Therefore, immediate action must be taken by government to tackle this impact of climate change. For the solutions, in order to mitigate flash flood problem in Selangor, the state government has invested approximately RM300 million ringgit over 5 years to improve the city drainage infrastructure, add up more water pump unit, and to build reservoir. Firstly, by improving drainage infrastructure, the government has increased the size of drain to improve drain capacity in handling excess rainwater and reduce the risk of flooding. After that, by adding more water pump unit, especially at flood-prone area, it will reduce the impact of flash floods as it will redirect the excess surface water into proper drainage systems. Finally, by building reservoir, excess rainwater from heavy rainfall will be stored, and this prevents water runoff into urban streets and drainage system, causing in sudden flooding. This stored water will be released into drainage system gradually to reduce the intensity of downstream flooding.
So, one of the current issues that related to the climate change in Malaysia include the event of wildfire in Kuala Langat Forest Reserve. Hulu Langat Forest Reserve has total area of 957.6 hectare and is surrounded with housing developments, agriculture areas and Temuan villages, which is the Orang Asli community. On March 2021, more than 40 hectare of Kuala Langat Selatan Forest Reserve was destroyed due to the hot, dry and windy weather. Rising global temperatures evaporate more moisture from soil and vegetation, drying out the vegetation and make it easier for wildfires to ignite and spread. This situation is a serious problem as it will have bad implications to wildlife habitat and human being, especially community Orang Asli Temuan ethnic who lives in the settlement on the reserve forest. On my right side, there is a picture of the Selangor Fire Department extinguishing the fire in the Kuala Langat Selatan Forest. However, there are solutions for the wildfire events that takes place in the Hulu Langat Forest Reserve. The Selangor government efforts to restore Hulu Langat Reserve Forest has been seen since 2015, which include firstly, rewetting, which is hydrology management. Secondly, the revegetation, the tree planting. And thirdly, fire mitigation, which is community-based fire patrols. The rehabilitation approach, such as a tree planting program, will help the area recover and be more resilient to future forest fire. On May 20, 2022, 130 volunteers have stepped up to plant 600 trees in the forest reserve region to assist restore the reserve forest. And rewetting approach in Hulu Langat Reserve Forest by building dams and wetlands will improve the hydrology of the area by increasing and maintaining the water levels. This helps to minimize vegetation from drying out during the extreme dry season, which can spark wildfire from occurring.
Now I will continue with the next event related to climate change, which is rising sea level. Referring to the newspaper headline, it mentions that Penang would be underwater in 10 years, and the photo hinted that the affected area would be paddy fields. According to Dr. Zulaikhha Professor at University Science Malaysia, Centre for Marine and Coastal Studies, Kepala Batas in Kedah and Juru in Penang would be submerged within a decade if temperature and sea levels continue to rise unchecked. This is because as the ocean become warmer due to increasing global temperature, the ice cap and glacier will melt at increasing rate, causing seawater to expand, which finally lead to rising water level. So as a result, low-lying places, particularly in Penang and Kedah, is at the risk of being submerged. To the worst, the affected area would be paddy fields in the lowlands. This situation will affect food production as salt water will seep further into inland, tainting the soils and fresh water with salts. Finally, this condition will destroy paddy production as majority of planted paddy are prone to saline. So now, for the solutions or adaptation to climate change, it is stated that Penang has built a various form of coastal defense to mitigate the problem, which include groiners, seawalls, and revetments. Besides, since the variety of paddy planted in Malaysia are still sensitive to salt water, it is finally time for us to replace them with variety that's more tolerant to the salt or saline. Now, another solutions that might help to reduce or slow down the rising sea level is by planting more trees. It is known that trees absorb carbon, which is greenhouse gas, that lead to the global warming. Therefore, Penang State has aimed to plant 500,000 trees under its green agenda, with the main purpose is to provide more greenery for climate protections. Mangrove trees has been planted along the river banks in Pantai Malindo Balik Pulau to reduce the impact of climate change because mangrove roots help to absorb the energy of waves and storm surges.